Michael Landon is just over yonder there. Hi guys, so we're here at William O'Brien's and I'm just getting my boots and getting myself ready here. It's kind of, let's see, this morning was about 36 degrees. Now it's about, I think it's just around 10 o'clock in the morning, and the temperature is probably in the mid 40s. It's supposed to go up to 50 today. So the big thing about when you get to hiking trails, you're gonna get really hot. So it's good to layer up for sure, but the thing is, it's gonna get warmer throughout the day and you're just gonna start shedding those layers. So it is good to layer, but at the same time, if you don't want to carry all that stuff, because I've had to do that before, you just spend your whole hike carrying all your items. I'm probably just going to shed this layer and just wear my fleece. I have a long sleeve shirt underneath, and that's all I'm going to use, because you're going to build up momentum and heat energy. And trust me, it is kind of a science. For winter hiking, I usually would wear this to help block the wind, and to also, you want to create heat pockets, but we'll talk about that when winter really arrives. Today is probably one of the colder days of fall to be doing this. As you can see, it's super gray and really shining out. I waited like all last week. It was so beautiful and I should have filmed this then, but again, when it's too hot, it's not always super fun to go hiking. In the summertime, you want to go early in the morning when it's still cooler out so you don't get too hot, and in the colder days you want to go kind of later, because it's just too cold, and again, it gets warmer and you're just wearing a bunch of layers. So it's kind of a science as you get to the seasons, but you get to kind of understand that as you do it more often. So all right, I about got my boots on. I did bring some gloves and some fingerless mittens that I think I will just bring with me on my bag, because there's certain things that just get a little bit too unbearable. Also why I'm wearing the hat, because it's just getting too cold to not wear a hat anymore at that point. So I think I'm just gonna wear these beautiful fingerless gloves on my hike today, but I'll put those on. I'm gonna go to the bathroom before we hit the trail. Always do that. You have to use the woods, especially if you're a lady. All right. So here, we're gonna look at our map and you can kind of figure out your route that you want to go. The highlighter. So if you are a first-time hiker, I do recommend the Hike Club trail, but also if that's too long for you, you can always shorten it up. And that's why I thought O'Brien would be a good place to start. You can see we're starting over here, so you can really make it maybe 2.5 miles versus maybe 4 to 5 miles. It can get pretty long, so just keep in mind what you're able to do, and just be mindful of maybe where you can always change and shorten up your route, which is totally fine. You can obviously make the trail a lot longer if you want to go down or up over here, do little other loops. That's really exciting. But yes, you can always shorten things up, or you could always turn around and go back the way you came. Just be mindful and think about how you're feeling. Are you tired? Are you cold? And as soon as you start thinking of those things, maybe that's the time to start thinking of exit strategy. But enough talking, let's get on this trail. The sun is coming out. It's looking really beautiful. Like, it's really,
like such a cool, ominous kind of day. Like, feels like fall. It's kind of eerie. I really love it. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Again, this park is gorgeous. Like, some state parks are kind of boring, and this one I think just offers a good variety of things to see. It's really pretty. Definitely recommend checking it out. There's a lot of the ducks are doing something over there. Just leave them alone. They can be very aggressive. They sound aggressive. All right. So, a fun fact about Midwest history. I'm from Wisconsin originally. I live in Minnesota, but we learned all of this stuff in school. So the logging industry was a huge thing that happened in the Midwest, and you don't really think about it too much other than, I don't know if you remember the pancake breakfasts acting like lumberjacks first in the cafeteria at school, which was really fun. But there's more visually you can actually see today. Now, I've gone hiking in other states and seen other parks, and you do notice there's a difference in the trees. The trees, I would say, are much shorter, you know, and a lot smaller than if you went to a park that was outside of the lumbering industry during like late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's very fascinating, that whole part of our history and how it does visually affect our geography. And, you know, it's still very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but that relates to where William O'Brien State Park originates from. So William O'Brien, from what I found on my brief Google research here, was a lumber baron, and he purchased this land from a lumber logging industry company, and his daughter donated about 180 acres that's part of this park today back in 1947 to honor her father. And yeah, now there's like over 1,000 acres of land that have been donated since that time, and that was pretty common. You know, I've noticed going to other parks around Minnesota and in Wisconsin that a lot of land is just donated by families. They have a lot of land. Why not make a nature preserve? Why not give it back to the public? I don't know if that's true. I like to think maybe they're trying to be nice. Maybe it's just too much to manage. I don't really know, but you do see some old ruins, some old houses, old chimneys, you know, even certain businesses that were thriving businesses, you know, in the early 1900s that just don't exist at all today. There's no need for certain mining of things. So it is fun to go to these parks and you still see some of this remnants of history that really kind of like what built America in the early years. So yeah, stay tuned for more fun facts. Alright guys, we made it back to the hike. Just doing my Mr. Rogers, taking off my hiking boots, putting on some real shoes. Trust me, there's nothing like taking off your hiking boots at the end of a long hike. So we hiked about 6.5 miles today. It's kind of a lot. I think I started the hike with about 730 steps. I'm ending this part of my day at just over 15,000 steps, so I got a pretty good workout ahead of me. I want to have some water, drink some electrolytes to get myself back in order here, probably grab some lunch, maybe a smoothie, protein smoothie. But the takeaways of the day, the hike was so beautiful. I just couldn't get over how beautiful this hike was. This park is gorgeous. I highly recommend checking it out.
the clouds in the sky were just incredible. I mean, look at the clouds behind me, like they're just wild today. You know, winter's definitely coming in, but it's just, you know, the moments are just so beautiful. It wasn't super busy today. I know the weekends this park gets pretty packed, but it hasn't been too busy. It's good to see people coming out though to explore the nature. You know, it's good for your mind, it's good for your body, it's good for a lot of things, good for thinking. A couple takeaways. Oh, I walked into something. A couple of takeaways. You know, I probably could learn how to read the maps a little bit better. I think we all could. Thinking about changing the name of my channel to Natalie Lost or Get Lost Natalie, because that might be more appropriate, because I'm sure it's going to happen again. Because it does. It happens. Happens to all of us. It's authentic. I do think it's a great park to check out, especially if you are newer to hiking. You can really shorten it up and make it as long as you want as well. I think, you know, you can get a pretty decent day's hike here. You can have a nice short little outing. I saw some families out here. The visitor center is nice. Also, I noticed there's a lot of bathrooms too along the trail, so hey, that's a nice thing to know. I'm not sure if they're open in the winter time, but just an added bonus. But definitely check out Rhino State Park if you're in the area. I think you'd really enjoy it. Wisconsin side, Minnesota side, totally worth the drive. Thank you guys.